This time of year, a lot of people set New Year's resolutions for themselves. I'm sure you have some, I have some I've set. But the question then becomes, how do we accomplish these? The first step is going to be to turn these resolutions into goals. But then after that, we need to make sure that we're doing things every single day that are pushing us towards that resolution. Those activities are going to be known as habits. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. In today's video, I want to talk to you about how you can develop habits that will help you achieve your New Year's resolutions this year and any other goals you have set. Because habits are the main thing that we need whenever we want to accomplish a goal. That outcome, let's say your New Year's resolution is to lose more weight or to play on a better team. That is this very outside outcome. It is an end result. If you focus too much on that, you're probably not going to actually achieve that end result. Because the achievement of that end result does not come from focusing on it. It comes from focusing on the steps you need to take leading up to that end result. Those steps are going to be habits. Now, habits are not always easy to develop, and they're even harder to break. So right now, I would encourage you, if you have a New Year's resolution or a goal that you're trying to accomplish, focus less on trying to break bad habits that are keeping you from achieving that goal, and focus more on what we're going to talk about today, developing positive habits. Because what happens is when you begin to develop positive habits and you feel that positive reinforcement and emotion inside when you start working towards this goal and you start developing these positive habits, that then works to rid your negative habits, because you're going to find how much joy and fulfillment you have in working towards your goal. But like I said, it's not easy to develop new habits, which is why it's better to have a framework to follow. And that's what we're going to be addressing in this video. I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can use to develop a new habit. This is going to be good for right now. It's going to be good for next year, a year from then. This is a universal structure that anyone can use to develop a new habit. So jumping right into it, step number 1 is you need to decide on a time frame. You need to decide on a time frame for how long it's going to take you to develop this habit. For example, if you want to begin developing the habit of going to the gym, let's say, you need to say, okay, I am going to give myself a month to turn this into a habit, or I'm going to give myself 6 weeks to turn this into a habit. What does that mean? Why are we giving ourselves a time period? Aren't we wanting to make this a habit that we continue to use? Yes, but the reason we're doing this time frame is because when you're developing a new habit, you have to be sure you're really forcing yourself to do it in the beginning. Now, once it becomes a habit, that's when it becomes habitual. It's a natural part of your daily routine. It's a natural part of your life. For myself, my exercise is very natural to me. I don't spend too much time thinking about whether I'm going to exercise. It's not really even a question of whether or not I'm going to exercise, but what am I going to do? Because I know that has become a habit of mine. But in the beginning, when I first started working out, it wasn't a habit. So I had to say, I am going to go to the gym, and I had to force myself to go to the gym. Another example I like to use is with my writing. In writing my articles in the beginning, it wasn't a habit for me to write every day. In fact, I found it very difficult. But what I did was I said, I am going to be writing every single day, 1,000 words a day for an article. And I did that for about a month. And what happened was it then became habitual to where now I don't think about writing. It is just a natural, habitual part of my day. For yourself, think about how long you need to give to where you're going to be putting forth conscious effort towards performing the activity you want to turn into a habit. Maybe for you, it's 2 weeks. Maybe you know, hey, I really love routines. It's really easy for me to get into a habit, and then you only need 2 weeks. Maybe you need longer, maybe you need 2 months. But you really need to start by thinking about how long it's going to take you to turn this into a habit. How long do you want to give yourself? Now, another reason this part's so important is because it develops urgency. If you tell yourself that I want to develop a habit in 1 month, how easy do you think it will be to skip a week? Probably not as easy as if you told yourself, I'm going to develop the habit this year. What's the urgency? What's the rush? Well, what the rush is is if you miss 1 week because you don't have that urgency, then who's to say you won't miss 2 weeks after that, and then 3 weeks? What happens is what you wanted to become a habit is now put on the back burner. But when you say, I'm going to make this a habit in 1 month, that develops urgency. So you don't miss a day. You don't skip a week at all, because now it is something that you want to develop into a habit. Step number 2 is to start small. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're wanting to develop a habit is starting too big. If your habit is to eat healthier, don't tell yourself that you're going to eat clean every single meal of every single day during the week. That is a very, very lofty goal. I wish you could do that. I hope you can do that, and I hope you can prove me wrong. But the majority of people are going to find it difficult to make such a drastic transformation as that. If you're wanting to eat healthier for just the way your body looks, or whether it's for athletic performance, you need to understand that that's going to take time. So start small. And that's true for any habit that you want to develop. Start small. So what would this look like? Let's use the example of wanting to eat healthy. If you want to eat healthier, why don't you say that for Monday and Tuesday nights, for the first week, you're going to make your meal at home and you're going to eat really clean. Now for the next week, you say, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights, you're going to eat clean and make your dinner at home. The next week, maybe you add the weekend, because the weekend is where it's really easy to want to eat unhealthy. And now, as you move forward, you start adding in your lunches. You start adding in a healthier breakfast. Do you see what you're doing? We are layering this habit. Rather than saying, I have to eat healthier, which to your mind is a very large and difficult transformation. It goes completely against your internal identity. You say, no, I'm going to give you this small progress to where you can get comfortable and acclimated, and then I'm going to build on that, and you're going to build on that. And it's easier to build on it when you start small, because you allow your body and your mind to realize you actually like that. I really doubt you are wanting to develop habits to accomplish a goal or a resolution that are ultimately going against your well-being. If it's eating healthier, exercising more, making new friends, working harder on your business, improving your skills athletically, you're doing all of that, and that is your goal because you think that is going to improve yourself and improve your life. So when you start small, you're putting yourself in a position to realize how much better you feel by doing that activity. So remember, when you're beginning your habit, start small. Give yourself time, which is why that time frame for step number 1 is so important. Give yourself time to allow this habit to naturally develop. Now, step number 3 and 4 really play into one another. Step 3 is to make it daily. This goes into the urgency we talked about with step number 1. The reason you're wanting to do it daily is because you're wanting to make this activity part of your natural routine, just part of your daily life. That's when things really become habitual for us. I said that I struggled with writing every single day. But when I decided that I was going to do it, and I was going to start small and write every single day, I made it daily. What that did was transform writing into just something that I did every day. It's just part of my daily routine. So now I mold my day around that activity because I say that is just what I do. It's what I do every day because it's what I want to do for my business. For my physical fitness side, I have the exercises that I do every day, whether it's running, swimming, weightlifting. I know that I'm going to do that every single day. I'm going to exercise every day. So then you start thinking about when you're trying to plan out your days, you have this thing, this activity that you're passionate about because you're wanting to make that into a habit. You're wanting that habit to then turn into an ultimate goal. So it becomes part of your daily routine. And then when you're wanting to develop a habit, you have to really get yourself comfortable, which is why doing it every single day helps you get comfortable with it. It helps you expose yourself to the activity. It helps you just become accustomed to it. With that being said, what happens when you miss a day? Because inevitably, you're going to miss a day when you're working towards a habit. And when something has become a habit, things come up. You're going to miss a day. Well, that takes us into step number 4, which is to never miss twice. As long as you can help it, never miss twice, especially when you're first forming your habit. Now, when you have your habit formed, Sometimes it is okay to take a week, 2 weeks, a month off. Sometimes you need that. But right now, we're really talking about when you're forming a habit. Do not allow yourself to miss twice. Do not allow yourself to miss 3 times. What happens is, let's say you miss one time, you miss one day. Maybe you don't exercise, you don't train, you don't eat healthy. Something comes up and you don't do it. You don't need to then beat yourself up. You don't need to then completely have everything go off the rails. You say, okay, I accept that, things come up. But now you have to work really hard to do it that next day. Because if you allow one day to turn into 2 days missed, now those 2 days missed turn into 3 days missed. Now all of a sudden you've missed a whole week. And now it has become so much easier for you to just forget about that habit altogether. So when you are working to develop a habit, never miss twice. Now, step number 5 is to find an accountability partner. The last step when you're wanting to form a habit is to find someone besides yourself that is going to hold you accountable. You want this person to be someone you trust, someone that you trust with this goal, you trust with this aspiration, but then also someone that you trust is going to hold you in line. I think of my mom when I talk about this because she's someone who, she's going to give me that push when I need it. If I tell her that I want to make something a habit and she sees me slacking off, she's not going to say, oh, honey, it's fine. She's going to say, Eli, you said you're going to do that. Why aren't you doing it? Did you do that today? And when we're developing a habit, we need that push. We need that outside influence because it's so easy for our internal dialogue to start whispering to us and saying, oh, you don't need to. Here's a reason why you don't have to do it today. Here's another excuse. But when you have this outside influence, they will counteract that internal dialogue and make sure that you're going to do it. An example of this that may help you out is finding a training partner. If you're wanting to exercise more, or if you're wanting to train more for your sport, it's a really good idea for you to find someone who has similar goals to you. Someone who also wants to get better physically. Someone who also wants to improve themselves within their sport. And then begin training together. You're going to help each other out. You're going to push each other when you're training. But then also you're going to hold yourselves accountable. Because if you have someone who's waiting for you to go to the gym, or if you tell your buddy that you're going to go to the field with them tomorrow to hit, you're very much more likely to do that, even if an excuse comes into your mind, even if you wake up maybe not feeling like it that day. If you know someone else is counting on you, that gives you just another reason to go out and actually do that activity that day. So if you're wanting to develop a new habit, to accomplish a New Year's resolution, or to just achieve some other goal, focus on these 5 habits. If you put these 5 habits into practice, I guarantee you will be able to form a new habit. And that habit, performed consistently, is going to give you that outcome that you desire. Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really hope that you put these tips into practice and you work on your goals this year, and you work on accomplishing your New Year's resolutions. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at elistraw@successstartswithin.com, or you can just leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.